All right, let's try it again. Let's go to the phones. Calling from a 514 area code.
My name's John. I'm calling from Montreal.
John from Montreal, what's on your mind?
So, what's on my mind is Trump and his antagonistic behavior towards the people who are supposed to be his allies. It's like, for me personally, I remember, I was super young, but I remember 9/11 and how Canadians, we rallied behind what happened to our neighbors, and we were some of the first to take up arms and go to Afghanistan and lose soldiers, and I don't understand this idea of antagonizing us, and he may think it's fun and games or not take this seriously, but his words have real life consequences. I mean, from the moment he was elected up until now, our dollar is now, and it's not entirely his fault, but our dollar is fallen to lowest point in years. There's real anxiety amongst people who live here about these tariffs that are about to be imposed, and not for nothing, Trudeau is responsible for a lot of gripe that Canadians have with the standing government. But I don't see the majority of us being okay with being assimilated with America, considering the problems in healthcare, the problems in education, things that are not perfect here, but are definitely better than lifetime indebtment. And I'm wondering, is there a bigger plan to this, or is this just being a dick, sorry for lack of a better term, just to be a bad person? I just don't understand what the end goal is here.
Well, both. I mean, it can be both a means and an end. I mean, I think that we're going to assimilate Canada. My guess is no. Is it a way for him to create sort of a distraction? Maybe it's a bargaining position to sort of try and like make the idea of us buying Greenland more sort of like less absurd. But the implications, like, with the Canadian dollar dropping, obviously it's like inflationary, obviously hugely inflationary. The tariffs are also going to be hugely inflationary here. Nobody knows. I mean, nobody really knows. The only thing I can tell you is that there is, nobody knows. His advisors came out and said that the tariffs were just going to be more selective than he says. And then he came out and on Truth Social, I think it was, and said it's going to be on everything. Investors in this country, we have a Fed that has cut our interest rates, but long-term rates have gone up, which suggests that they believe that Trump may actually do this stuff. And we're going to get inflation again in this country. Nobody knows, but I appreciate the call. Let's play this clip of him saying what you're talking about. Hang in there. I wish I could say help is on the way, but it's going to be a rough 4 years. Obviously, not just for us, but for the rest of the world. Appreciate the call.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Here's clip number 4. Where Trump basically says, I guess, as some way of assuaging people, that we're not going to actually physically invade. We're just going to use economic force.
Oh.
If we were to work under the assumption that you're serious about making Canada a 51st state of the United States, the leader of the Conservative Party in Canada said, under no circumstance will it ever be the 51st state.
Maybe he won't win, but maybe he will. I don't
Points, you had suggested.
Listen, I don't care what he says.
But Sir Lopez, you said you were considering military force to acquire Panama and Greenland. Are you also considering military force to annex and acquire Canada?
No, economic force. Because Canada and the United States, that would really be something. You get rid of that artificially drawn line, and you take a look at what that looks like, and it would also be much better for national security.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Canada.
Artificially drawn line. You mean like the U.S. border that we are supposed to be sacredly protecting down in the south from the hordes of Mexicans that they're coming over? I'm sorry.
Those are scars. Open border. Open border.
This is unironically my border position. It should be less important than they are.
Yeah.
I say we open up the border all the way down to the bottom of South America.
Yeah, and
Right.
and it would honestly be better for
Free flow.
security.
People back and forth, completely arbitrary. Completely arbitrary.
Sorry, keep going.
And it would also be much better for national security. Don't forget, we basically protect Canada. But here's the problem with Canada. So many friends up there. I love the Canadian people. They're great. But we're spending hundreds of billions a year to protect it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure it would be better for national security if we conquered the entire continent or whatever. Like, I mean, part of why the United States is able to be a military behemoth is because we conquered the land from the Atlantic to the Pacific. We have a massive land mass. We have two neighbors that are two of our biggest trade partners on the north and south that we have trade deals with that are supposed to be friendly and not adversarial. And that creates a lot of we don't have enemies right at our border that are going to threaten to invade us or kill anyone in our population. So that is a huge part of it. But that's part of why he's obsessed with Greenland, too, as I mentioned before. It has our largest military base now on the planet. It has the ability to shoot nukes over the North Pole into Russia.
Arbitrary.
But he's Fox News grandpa, so he's just like putting together parts of our national security that he's understood and then applying it to, I don't know, a world. Didn't William McKinley do an invasion? Is this part of his William McKinley thing? I need to look up that timeline. But it is just a bizarre fixation that I think is mostly about triggering people. But also, who knows? He's a lunatic.
I mean, it also
The Philippines.
Oh, William McKinley invaded the Philippines.
The thing about the tariff discourse is that it gets powerful people from Europe, from the entire world, to say we need to get on the phone with this guy and create a dialogue. Like that's the impact it's had
A threat.
so far.
And also, it also is a threat to companies as well and industries, right? Yeah. Maybe if there's tribute. Look, it's worked out very well for Jeff Bezos. Mm-hmm. For tiny amount of money, $40 million, and pull one endorsement. All of a sudden, I don't have much of a problem with his antitrust stuff. See how this works?
Yeah.
You scratch my back, I scratch your back.
We don't protect, it's funny, like a protection racket, all of a sudden, getting upset at the costs it takes to protect all the people that is protected. Like, we don't protect Canada or Japan, for instance, out of the goodness of our heart. It's because it pays for us to do so.
Right. Also, isn't this guy, so he's anti-war, because he's gonna take territory just through pure economic force. How did that work out for
Greenland,
Cuba?
Greenland and Panama Canal we may take with force.
Oh, good.
May do that. We may.
You're going to hear very little of the anti-war Trump stuff until campaign season rolls around again.
I got news for you. Like 6 months from now, the anti-war right is going to be completely melted away.
They're going to be talking about trans people and stuff.
Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.